Good afternoon, everybody. This is Jason, and we're going to be spending the next hour talking about one of our biggest challenges in this space. I mean, we talk in and out, day in, day out, regarding um, flying first class or business class or even flying coach. Many of us make it sound so easy because some of us really have the time to really do the searching online. But I know that not everyone, especially with our Facebook group, a lot of newbies in this group, not everyone is keen in finding the award space or maybe even using the right or knowing the proper credit card transfer partner where your points will work. And so that's the reason why I invited Rome.Travel's Tim Quinn. He is with us right now. And Tim, I mean, he and I, we met last year, but I've been a fan of Rome, following Rome. I have a Rome account, and it's one of the tools that I know has helped me, especially with my most recent award searches. And I wanted Tim to share his platform with us, and so that's the reason why I invited Tim. This guy, I mean, I'm not gonna read you his entire LinkedIn profile. All right, I won't do that today. But has been featured over on Good Morning America, the New York Times, the Point Sky, TPG, and something that I'm gonna tell Tim that what he and I have in common. He was also featured in the Wall Street Journal, and I was too, and we can talk about that later. All right. So Tim, I'm gonna give you the platform. Please, say, introduce yourself to the group. Welcome to Daddy Travels.
Thank you for having me, Jason. It's great to be here to meet all of you. So I'm Tim. I'm the co-founder of Drone, and we are a workplace search engine for credit card points and miles. We currently cover about 25 different loyalty programs, including some that no one else covers, like Cafe Pacific, for example. Our claim to fame is we were the first free real-time search tool out there. Now, obviously, there are a lot more options today, but happy to dive in and show you some of our unique features. We are very user-friendly from both beginners to experts. So happy to be here.
Good. Thank you. And I'm glad that you're here. I mean, we know this is going to be a very packed hour because it's going to be a meet and greet like what we're doing right now. It's also going to be a little show and tell. And what I like about when Tim and I were getting together to prepare and plan for this session is it's not only focusing on our newbies, right? And so, but I think Tim also has something special for those who are quite seasoned in this space, something new, something that we all could use. Because I think for me, whether you're a newbie or a seasoned player, there's always room for growth and room to learn something new. And so again, Tim, again before we go into the meat and potatoes, Wall Street Journal, about gosh, 8 years ago, I flew coach to Hawaii, and I had cup of noodles, top ramen or something, and I featured that on my blog entry, and a writer from the Wall Street Journal read my blog entry and reached out to me. And so, long story short, because he featured about ways that you can save, where you can pinch pennies when you're traveling. And so I think I went to Iceland and to Hawaii, and I used my cup of noodles as my meal without having to pay anything extra. And so that's what got me into the Wall Street Journal. So that's something that you and I share in this space. All right. Okay.
Yes, yes.
Exactly.
Definitely unique experiences
There
for
you
sure.
go. Absolutely, absolutely. So Tim, I mean, I want to make sure that before we go into the meat and potatoes again, the website is Rome.Travel, and that is ROAME
Mhm.
dot the word travel. So it's not .com, not .edu or anything. It's .travel, and so it's quite appropriate. You roam around the world with an E, and you travel. So it's Rome.Travel. All right, and you also have a Facebook group and an Instagram presence.
Yes. So we do have Instagram where we post deals and a Facebook group called Award Travel by Rome, where we're very friendly. We'll answer any questions from beginner to expert. Definitely check us out.
Good deal. Good deal. So, I'm going to make sure that, whenever possible, I remind everybody where to find you so that they know exactly how to take advantage of Rome's feature rich website. All right. So Tim, I guess let's now get into it. I mean, I'll let you take the lead because
Yeah.
you do have the option to share your screen. So if you, I'll shut up right now and I'll watch and I'll ask questions at the same time. All right.
Yeah, definitely. I guess before I even share the screen for Rome, so how I got into points and miles was the first Chase Sapphire Preferred card came out, and that was my first points earnings card way back when. As you know, Chase revamped the entire game. It used to be just Amex, right? And then Chase forced everyone to change the whole game, right? Now we have Capital One, City, Built, right? Tons of choices now. And I think this was almost 15 years ago. Might
Right.
be dating myself, but I was able to travel around the world in business and first, like um, when I was super young. So that's how I got into points and miles and loved it ever since. And one of the reasons I started Rome was I was spending probably 30 hours, maybe, give or take, trying to find these JL first class tickets. And so I was like, hey, let's just create something for myself and my co-founder to save time and money.
Good.
And that's how Rome came to be. Yeah.
And so,
And
how long has
go
Rome
ahead.
been around?
So we launched in 2023,
Okay.
early 2023.
Gotcha.
Um, the first out real-time search for free, and also 15 seconds. And now we also are the only ones who have both the broad cache discovery as well as real-time search.
Got it. Got it. Got it. And I'm glad that you mentioned a certain credit card, which I, as a content creator, cannot mention. So please, by all means, you can mention it, but I can't. All right. So, I mean, I think it's a good reminder for everybody, especially those who are still new in this space, that with this particular credit card, because I get that a lot. Jason, I applied for this card. I got the 60,000 bonus or the 100,000 bonus, and I know Jason, you guys use it at Hyatt and everything, but how can I use it for flights? And one of the things that I think you guys will like, and Tim will show it, is with this platform, it'll tell you that hey, for this flight from Los Angeles to Tokyo, for instance, these are the amount of points required. This is the kind of cabin, and then it will also show you which credit card miles and points will work with such booking. And so, I mean, I think I like that because this is really what I call putting everything together because you've done your due diligence in getting the right set of credit cards. The question is now what? Like, how do I search, right? And so Rome,
Exactly.
yeah, Rome to me is a user-friendly tool, and I can't wait to see what Tim has in store for us. All right, go ahead, Tim.
Definitely. So let me quickly share my screen. Give me 1 second.
And Tim, while you're doing that, if I may ask folks, guys, if you have any questions, please go ahead and ask them over on the comments section. My son, who is in his bedroom, is actually also watching this. For a 15-year-old, he's finding this very boring. I'm pretty sure. But I asked him to keep watch of our comments or questions, and so we might hear his voice, or he might be texting me if someone were to ask questions. So please feel free to ask questions, and if you happen to catch this recorded later, you can still ask questions, and between me and Tim, we will make sure to answer those questions for you. All right, Tim, go ahead.
Definitely. So this is our website at Rome.travel, spelled ROAME.travel. Funny story actually on that name. It was we wanted to combine Rome, Italy with roaming around the world. And so that's how we did Rome Travel.
Very nice.
Um, so as you see, it's very straightforward, right? Like Google Flights, Kayak. You can choose your fare class, number of travelers. We'll skip Skyview for now. Pick your city. I pick NYC, Paris, and then you pick your date, right? Very simple. user interface once people are very familiar with it. And after that, all you have to do, let's just pick another day, say the ninth or something. All you have to do is click search, and that opens up a new tab. I'm going to exit out. So once you click search, we're searching live across the 20, 25 different airline loyalty programs that we cover for availability, right? And you see those really quickly. So you can imagine if you were doing this by yourself, going on 25 different airline loyalty websites, right? That would be a lot of time sink, and just a lot of time, right? So I had actually searched with the multi-date function, so plus or minus 3 days for an entire week. You can also turn it off just one day at a time. Um, but let's go over like what are we seeing here,
Great.
right? So let's go to this first slide. This is a British Airways flight for February 9th from 11:20 to 3:20 p.m. Right. The route is JFK to Paris with a stop at London, and that is for 45,000 points. Right. But for the beginners out there, right, you redeem this on Alaska Airlines, not British Airways. And this is just every airline has a lot of different partners. Actually, the best value sometimes are on the partners rather than the airline itself. And Jason, by the way, just stop me if this is too.
No, it's good. It's really good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. I'll go into the details here so you can just take a look, right? So this is a full flight details. You can see the airline, the aircraft, the flight number, all the layover stuff. This is an overnighter, right? So you actually see the layover and all of that. We show you how this is redeemed, right? If you have 45,000 Alaska miles, you can book directly. And then so you click book, that'll go to the airline website. If you want to transfer, all you have to do is click transfer, and we'll give you the full instructions to do so. For Alaska, actually, bill transfers to Alaska, Marriott, Hawaiian, all of that. We also show you exactly how much it costs, right? So Marriott, for example, is a 3-to-1 transfer, so it's 45,000 points times 3, a lot more expensive. I'm going to click the transfer option just to show you what it looks like and go back. So once you click transfer, we tell you exactly the step by step instructions, right? Go to Alaska, create an account, transfer points from Built. Here's a transfer guide if you want to, and then book your flight, right? So that's pretty straightforward. That's your live search, right? There's a lot of different ways you can play with this. I search 7 days at a time, but say I only want February 9th, right? So you just saw it's only February 9th now, right? Let's say I want to add back, I don't know, February 7th. Now it's down there. So you can play with this as much as you like. We made it very easy to use. Now let's go over here, right? So we have a lot of different filters, and that's where it becomes more interesting. And later on, I'll show you the extra ways of using the filter product. So you can filter by loyalty programs for cards that you care about. So let's say I only want Chase transfer partners, right? So immediately you see all these different transfer options that, flight options that are only on Chase. And this is for airline loyalty programs. Because we pick Chase, it'll automatically pick these programs. You can also filter it by different stops, right? I'll get into premium mix, but let me get rid of all these other filters. So you see this flight, right? It's 2 different segments. They're both in business, and we show you color coded. 83% for the first leg, and 17% for the second leg in business. Sometimes you will get a portion. Let me exit out. Okay, I guess everything's in business here, so it doesn't really apply. Sometimes you might get the long leg, so the 83% in economy, and only 17% in business. So that is considered a business mix, but most people would want to filter that out, right? So that's why you can use the premium mix cabin filter to determine what percent of the cabin you want to be in business or first class.
What would be a safe percentage Obviously, 100 would be if you wanted all business. But I guess from a search perspective, what would be a good safe percentage wherein you get to fly business a lot more as far as the returns?
Yeah. So I typically like to set it at 75% to 85%. Um, but keep in mind that maybe sometimes even 60% is fine. So the main sort of edge case this comes into play is if you have like 30-40% in domestic um, economy, right? But you want the international leg to be in business. So that's why 60% probably the safest, right? In
Right,
terms of capturing everything so you can make a decision yourself. But look, most people just want 100% business at first.
right. Gotcha. Okay, cool.
Um, and we also obviously have max fees. So if you do that, um, a lot of the BA flights will disappear. Um, Points, you can pick and choose that as well. And then we can get into the airlines, airports, and aircraft filters later, right? But let me show you.
Tim, while you're here, right there on the far right, which has the 30%, can you spend a couple of minutes because it's something I always share with the group regarding the transfer bonus. If you could please share what that means, that section in green.
Yes, of course. So the how we show transfer bonuses is we show anything that's live and we show the highest. So for example, right now there's a 30% transfer bonus from City to Virgin Atlantic, right? So we're gonna probably change the design later on, but it's very subtle. If you see these flashing, these means these are the cards that transfer. All you need to do is go down below and see Chase is 25% transfer bonus, right? I just clicked all options. So you can go in here and check the full options,
Got
right?
it.
City's 30%, Chase is 25%. So that shows you the minimum that you need to transfer over.
Good. Good. Thank you.
And since we're here, let me show you something else. So let's filter for only air freights, right? I'll show you some comparisons. So you'll see that you can book Air France on both Virgin Atlantic or it's 450, 55 a.m. or Flying Blue, right? And it's actually much cheaper, twice on Virgin Atlantic for the same exact flight uh, on Air France. So this is where it comes into play, where you can take advantage of the different transfer bonuses and the pricing on different partners, right? So you're paying a little bit more in fees for Virgin Atlantic, but a lot lower in um, points price. So you can make a decision for yourself. Luckily, most cars transfer to both Flying Blue and Virgin Atlantic, so it's not that hard of a decision. It just depends on your transfer bonus.
Right.
What's up there? See, Jason, are there any questions yet or
I'm
anything?
texting my son. He said, "Oh, we're just getting a lot of comments saying that people like the features."
Oh, awesome.
So,
Okay.
so far right now, no questions. Just giving thumbs up on the features.
Okay. In that case, I'll show some more features, and please just ask any questions. There are literally no dumb questions. Points is very complex, and purposely so, I think, by the people who do points. So happy to answer any questions. You can also sort by departure time, last updated, flight duration, rooms picks, whatever you like, and I'll just sort for you. While we're here, let's run a few other searches on live search so that we can just see how it moves. Before we do that, so you remember when we first searched, this was green, flashing green, and said live. Now it's 8 minutes ago, right? So we make it very clear whether the results is live or cached or saved down or found later. So always check this if you have questions. It'll come up later once we show you the more advanced features. So let's try, I did a few searches earlier, so hopefully they're still there. Let's try San Francisco to Tokyo. Everyone loves Tokyo. I'm going to turn off plus, I'll leave it on. And I believe it was for July.
Jot down these
Well,
dates, guys.
let's see if it's there still there. I
Right.
found an ANA
Oh
flight
my
there.
god.
Okay, it is perfect.
Oh my
So
gosh.
you'll see that's populating right as we search. That's all live. So I wanted to draw attention to this because everyone loves a good ANA first, right? And people often ask, why do you even search Virgin Australia? One, because we have Australian customers, but two, especially for ANA first class, you can book it with Virgin Atlantic for much cheaper than this 120,000 points. So this flight, if you book with Virgin Atlantic, it is only 72,500 points. So that is ridiculously cheap. That's the price of business class on most other loyalty programs,
So,
right?
so, so how will they know that? I mean, I know you mentioned it's cheaper with Virgin, but if a newbie were to be looking at this right now, well, I see Velocity for 120K, but
Mhm.
how would this person then put two and two together that I should just go to Virgin instead? Is it
Yeah, let me know if you want me to get down. This can get there's a lot of so this is where you get down the rabbit hole of points. But here's a guiding rule of thumb: if you see ANA first class uh, redeemed with either Virgin Australia, Velocity, or United Mileage Plus, and it's within the Virgin Atlantic window, which means like when you can book on their um, through the program, you can just Google it. It's like 330 days or something like
right?
that. Then you know that you'll be able to book in a Virgin Atlantic. Why this is really complex and really confusing is you won't see the same flight. There's no Virgin Atlantic here. Why isn't there 72,500 points redemption in Virgin Atlantic for the same exact flight? You see it with Virgin Australia, you see it for United, right? That's because Virgin Atlantic does not show ANA flights on their website. So that's why we don't show it either. But because they have a special partnership with ANA, you can call them manually. And then you can say, like, hey, I'm going to search SFO to Tokyo Narita July 10th. Do you have redemption? And that's how the redemption process works.
Right. I mean, I can tell you that prior to Rome, I want to say just a year before the pandemic, I was, just exactly how you described it. I found an ANA, I want to say first or biz flight. I want to say with United, and then, but I had to call Virgin, if I'm not mistaken. I mean, it was something like that, but I ended up having to cancel it because the flight happened during the first couple of months of the pandemic, and
Oh,
everything. So, long story short, it supports your story that that I needed to call Virgin directly to make the booking because it's not something I could book directly using their website.
yeah. And I expect the reason is because Virgin Atlantic is part of Sky Team and ANA is part of Star Alliance.
Right.
So there's probably some restrictions there or something like that.
Right.
And how are we doing in time? I'll do one last search on live. Yeah, I'll just so Houston to Taipei on 427. Right.
I do have a good question, but we can tackle it after this one. I mean,
Okay.
not me. It was from the group.
Well, feel free to ask it. I'm just
Oh,
gonna share
it's
another example. Yeah.
no. Let's go with the search, Tim. Let's go with the search. Um,
So here's an example of another flight redemption. Right. This one is even Houston to Taipei. Right, for 87,500 points.
what a deal, right?
Yes. Would you like to ask your question, by the way?
Oh, sure, sure. So the question, something unrelated to what you're showing right now. So, what's the difference with Rome and Point.me?
Um,
Before you answer, before you answer, as a former, I mean, I have not used Rome in nearly 6 months now. 6 months, closer to a year. For me as a user who used Point.me, let me back up. As someone who has not used Point.me in close to a year now, that's what I meant. The reason why I stopped using Point.me is because of latency. it was really really slow, and I think the searches that I was experiencing, like once I hit submit, let's say LA to Manila or LA to Tokyo, whatever, it would take at least 2.5 minutes for for it to give me the full search. So that is my answer to that question as a former user. But from you as the creator, how would you set your product apart from Point.me?
Well, I'll say number one, right? You see all the live search that we just did, right? Um, Not the multi-day search, but searching live. You see how fast that was? That was 10, 15 seconds,
Right.
right? Some results are even 5 seconds and you get it. Um, that's free. That's free with an account. You don't even need to pay a subscription for that. So I think that's probably the best reason why you should just use Room. Why pay for something when you can use us for free? And it's a better tool, it's faster, right? So I'll say that's number one. And then I'll get into some of the features that we have for paid members, right? Like we have flight alerts. So we'll send you alerts based on your route and your filters. We're also, our paid feature, we let you search West Coast to East Asia, United States to Europe, and it's updated every single day throughout the hour.
Good. Yeah, to me, truly, it's having access to that live search. And really, at the end of the day, I mean, we're now in this day and age where everything's got to be handed to you really, really quick. Not many of us are that patient anymore because it's just the way we live these days. And so to go from 2 to 2.5 minutes of waiting down to 10 to 15 seconds, that to me, and also 10 to 15 seconds with great results, that to me is outstanding. And I am not being paid by Tim to say this, but because I really stopped using Point.me for that reason. So,
I'll show you some of the cooler features for our paid members, actually, since we're on this topic, right? So for our paid members, you can set based on your filters, right? So right now we're searching Houston to Taipei, right? But say I only want to search space transfer partners, right? I want to set it to 400 Vs, right? Points under K, for example, right? Let's use this. All you have to do is click create alert. Voila. Give you your alert is what we just saved, right? IH Taipei and all the programs picked for the Chase program, right? And we'll start searching that for you. So you can set this by airport to airport, or you can set it by region to region once we turn on this, the Skyview feature, which is our pro feature.
and how will you be notified by email?
You'll be notified by email or by, if you have the iOS app, in-app notifications.
Oh wow, cool, cool, cool. There is another question which I know you're going to go into the membership details. So if you want to hold off until later, but someone is asking, is this the pro version? And so, because I want to give you some time to talk about the different levels of membership. So I don't know if you want to cover that now or later.
Sure. So right now, let me just turn off this search multi-day. Let's just search 3 days at a time. So this you can get for free with an account, right? You have to have an account to access it, and it's a free account. So you can search up to 3 days. I was searching up to 7 days at a time, and that's a pro member feature. I would say the most important pro feature are the alerts, because you do not want to be, even though we're fast, 5 to 15 seconds, you do not want to search every day, right? You do not like want to search every hour. You don't even know when the alert's going to come out sometimes, right? For the deal you want to track. So alerts are what's going to get you uh, your the deal you want that instant. And also, like just tip of advice: if you get an alert, you should book it almost instantly.
Right.
Some of the best, like Singapore Airlines Supplier, Business Class, or Qatar Airways Q Suites, etc., those get booked just like that. There's a lot of people searching for it. There's a lot of people with alerts.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Um,
And okay, oh, sorry, go. Do you have more questions?
um, yeah. Can you cover? I mean, while we're on this screen, um, as a user of Rome, I am still foggy with Skyview. Um, so can you spend some time and what are the features and benefits of Skyview?
Yeah, this is probably something we have to do a better job. Skyview is not as known out there, but so Skyview is our broad discovery feature, right? We search every day based on our top 6,500 most popular routes, and we save those spikes down because we know everyone cares about U.S. to Tokyo routes, right? So we save it down to make it easier. Uh, how I would use Skyrim is to pair it with the live search, right? Use Skyrim to discover. So, for example, right, let's do United States to Tokyo, for example, and you can search multiple days at a time. Let's just do so Skyview, if you remember, you can search 60 days at a time, and all you have to do is click search, and battles search through all our entire database
I want to make
and
sure
give you the result.
I'm reading this. So that's like 7 or 8 months of date range, right? What you just chose, August
Yes,
1st through April.
I do want to clarify. I have the more advanced feature set. So a regular Pro member will be able to search 60 days at a time. We hope to increase that once we get the thing instant. But you see how fast that was switching, right?
Right.
All of the US routes that we have to take down to Tokyo across that many months, it's that instant, right? And look, most of these, I'll be honest, will be booked. Maybe not the Honolulu ones, right? So, how you want to use this, especially for beginners, is use this as discovery. You see what's possible, right? And if you really want to drill down, say, I don't know, we land on Chicago to Haneda, right? You see this was found 2 days ago. So it's probably gone, but now you know what kind of routing this is. VAL does already Chicago to Haneda, 60,000 points, right? Um, and then you can see all the other different options. There's sometimes connections to Osaka, right? Don't let me screw up. There's ANA that you can redeem with Aeroplan, 50,000, 55,000 points, etc. Right? So these are some of the opportunities that you can find. You can also you can drill down to let's do this one. This is more of an expert type of feature. So what if I only want Japan Airlines, right? And I only want A350.
Wow.
So select all of these. So as you can see, um, well, there we go. You can see this takes a little bit longer, right? But here we can
Longer?
drill,
That was like 10 seconds or even less.
right?
Oh my gosh.
Um, and you can see, so hey, you see this, right? Only the short legs at A350s. You're probably going to say, hey, I want the long leg, right? So let's just do nonstop, right? And just see what's available. Now you see it's a little harder when it's nonstop, for example, right? But there was a Dallas to Tokyo Haneda just a little while ago, right? Let me expand it. This is the admin version. Let me just see the full availability. Yeah, let me switch like this. And now you see, sometimes it's if you're coming back to US, there's usually more availability, right? And then other options like, hey, maybe you don't need to fly United States. Maybe like, hey, you want to be in Europe. Europe tends to have actually a lot more availability, right? So you can quickly see how easy it is that you can get really advanced really quickly. Let me see. And then what if I only want first class?
The questions are pouring in, Tim.
Right. So I'll do one sentence here and I'll just
No, that's fine.
answer the
Okay,
question.
good. Yeah, I think they're really into it. So good.
Right. So this is a great example, right? Charles de Gaulle Paris to Tokyo Haneda on the new A350. This is arguably the best first class that's not a fully enclosed suite, right? Out there. I flew it recently. It's beautiful. Definitely, well, this is public. Gives ANA a run for its money for sure. Um, and I guess the last thing I'll say here is those are some of the advanced features, right? But say you like this, sorry, let's sort by last updated. That's where it becomes more interesting, right? Let's sort by last updated. And so this one we found 3 hours ago from the Charles Gulf to Tokyo. That's probably still there, honest. So what do we do now, right? One, you can just go directly to American Airlines, click this or click book and check. Or if you're like you want to stay on Rome, just turn off Skyview and search Charles de Gaulle to Tokyo using the live search. I'll tell you if it's still there. I know we're a little short on time, so I won't do that, but these are just some examples of what you can do, right? And oh, I do want to show you this. You can do, I'm going to get rid of all these filters. I do want to show you some of the regional search. So you can do United States anywhere, right?
Neat.
But I would definitely recommend pairing this with an airline or airport filter. You'll see why. You probably shouldn't use such a large state range, but you see, you'll get like United States, United States, right?
Right.
So that's when the airport features come into play. What if I only want CDG, for example, right? So you can see these filters quickly can add a lot of complexity and advanced features to it. So uh, be careful. Okay, you'll see this one's taking a long time, right? Because there's tons of different airports, right? So I actually wouldn't advise people do something like this because they actually might get hung up. That's one of the reasons why for pro users we only show 60 days, because this is a very specific data set, right? You're going very big, and then you're coming down with one specific airport. So that's a lot. So this one's probably gonna get hung up.
Okay.
What else do I show you? A lot of people, hey, they want to search from a specific region, West Coast to Tokyo, for example, right? Let me do shorter dates. So it's so
Do me a favor. I'm being selfish. Between April 1st and April 15th, please.
April 1st. Oh, let me
And
set this. April 1st to April 15th, right?
that's spring break next year. That's fine.
Let's check Lewis. Let's see what we get. Hmm.
And I'm not surprised to see this because I've been looking at this, and the dates that I'm seeing for premium availability is really more towards the end of April. I'm good. I'm glad to see that April 6th one out of San Francisco. So, but at least for the most part, the ones that I've seen lately are towards the end of April. So, okay, good.
And then I'll just finish up here. You see, we did West Coast Tokyo, April 1st to 30th, right? I'm going to set some max points. I'm going to do, let's say 100 points, right? Fees, I'm going to do 400, right? And let's see, you only care about certain programs, right? So maybe I only want Aeroplan. Is it American? Airplane, American, Alaska, and JetBlue. Let's just say I'm Qantas, right? Really simple. So save this alert.
Nice.
You can see Pacific West, Tokyo, your dates, everything we just picked, right? I'm gonna delete these two so don't get spammed. We send alerts the most frequently out of anyone out there. We run it very frequently. It depends on how wide your range is. If it's like a West Coast to Tokyo, that's going to be slower than a San Francisco to Tokyo, for example. Right?
Is there a limit to the number of alerts you can get as a pro user?
Yeah. So right now the limit is 5 alerts per pro user, but I wouldn't like people might think 5 that's not as much, but like for example, you can set West Coast to Tokyo, you can set US to Europe, right? Actually, a lot, and we let you do it 60 days at a time. We are going to work to improve that to make it a lot more. But this really actually hurts the beginners if there's too much going on because you'll be spammed. Literally, have had people complain to me that they get 2,000 emails
Yeah.
and they're like, "How do I turn this off?" And they like mark us as spam, and I was like, "Please don't do that."
Right. Right.
Yeah.
There is actually a good question that I think will be good to ask at this time as well. I mean, the ones that we have been searching are all one-way directions, right?
Mhm.
And so the question really was, she's a newbie. Um, can you do a round trip search, or for your platform is searching one way the best way?
Yeah, so we do round trip search. I'll explain why. There's very few instances with award flights where round trip is going to be cheaper than one way at a time. And it's only really for the ANA program and maybe some domestic flights for like AA, but like very minimal. ANA is really the big one. And so I would just say 95% of searches, two one ways will be the same as one round trip. Now that's very different than cash, where when you book it with cash, round trip international cash is going to be a lot cheaper than booking two one ways, right? So that's why we're not really focused on that. Plus, with award fairs, usually you're booking one leg at a time. It's extremely hard to find the perfect flights for both going and coming back at the same exact time. Just keep in mind, like I'll use Japan Airlines, for example. At any given time for Japan Airlines first class with US routes, any time day, maybe you get two, three
Yeah.
out of all 365 days times all the routes back and forth at any given day, right? It's very rare. Right now, I barely see any. They're usually always just gone, right? So if you want round trip first class, you'll never get it because it's just not possible at the same time.
Right.
So that's why I always recommend searching one way at a time, especially for beginners.
Got it. There was another question because you did cover Skyview. What is Skyview Lite?
So full use of Skyview, so 365 days, switching 60 days at a time. That's for pro users only. Now, if you're a free user and you just want to get a taste, just play around with it, right? You can use Skyview Lite. All you have to do is do the same thing. You just toggle on Skyview. You'll just be limited to searching 1 week at a time for only the upcoming 60 days.
So it's really the limited amount of searches. Okay, got it.
Yes.
Um, did you cover whether the platform is available using an app?
Oh, great reminder. So, yes, you can download our iOS app and use it on your phone. So, makes it super convenient, especially if you want in-app notifications. I would say sometimes the in-app notifications are just like slightly faster, maybe 30 seconds, maybe usually not a minute faster, but 30 seconds faster than email alerts, and you get it on your phone directly. That 30 seconds can mean the difference between booking that Saver Fare redemption or not.
Right, right. I like using the app, especially when we're just on the go. But I still like. I'm so old school that I needed to see a bigger screen, a bigger monitor, so that I could see it all. So um, there was another question. Um, 1 second, or maybe I think it was more of a comment. I mean, again, just folks enjoying the platform a lot, and I think something again, Tim did not ask me to say this, but because I follow him on social media, over on his is it award travel by Rome, the Facebook group. Uh, if you do ask a question, and if Tim is awake, he will answer. Trust me on that. He will answer. If he does not know the answer, he will tell you. All right. So, and I really think that speaks very highly about him and his character and his ethics. That, hey, you know what? This is his product. He's him and his buddy, the partner. They're the brains behind this product, and so they're really the best folks to answer these questions. And I as a subscriber, as a user, appreciate the response that he gives whenever folks do ask questions. All right.
I appreciate that. Yeah.
Absolutely, absolutely.
So
So,
I told Jason before we started, right? I was only able to travel business and first class like right after college because of points. So I definitely want other people to experience it, especially since there's so many points floating around and just sitting there, right? And we know they devalue over the years. So yeah, it makes me happy to help others find flights.
right, Tim, I get this question a lot over in my Facebook group, and we're gonna. I do want you to spend some time, maybe the last 10 minutes, and do pro things. All right,
Mhm.
but maybe the next 3 to 5 minutes, So I have these points with that bank, the one with the 100,000 points offer. I need ideas. And so I did see you have a filter of the max points is like 100,000. And so if we were to do, let's say, LA to anywhere using 100,000 points, and let's just say summer, like between, I don't know, June and beginning of August, like where can folks go from LA to anywhere? Oh, and I do have a follow up question later regarding the calendar. I'm glad you showed that.
Oh, yes. So, well, hold on. Let me make sure yes, just Chase Rewards, right?
Right, right.
So we'll do a quick search. Um, well, actually, that doesn't seem right to me. So
I think
can I
we
do
have
something wrong?
quite a few um, banks or reward programs chosen. I think that's probably the case.
I chose okay, I chose only, no, I see what I did. I chose airline programs. That's why. Let's do Chase only. There we
Right.
go.
And again, this is for the folks who only have points from that bank. And let's say, what are you going to do with 100,000 points? Because we can already tell you the best way to use them as far as hotel is Hyatt. But if it's flights, here's an example. If you're looking to use it this summer, and let's say between June and August, here's an example. Look, for 16,000 points, again, you don't have to be from LA, but if you're flying from LA, um, is that to San Diego? Because I know that
Mhm.
you can even fly to. I hope you don't fly from LA to San Diego. Uh, I will drive you myself, and you can give me the 16,000 points. Um, I know that you can do LA to LHR or CDG. I mean, there are ways that you can really use those points, um, you know, and not break a bank. And look, here's one. I'm assuming this is premium, right? Yes, business for 70K, and you'll be paying 56 bucks out of pocket if you transfer those points from that bank to um, what was that Flying Blue? I forget which. Oh, to Aeroplan. Excuse me.
Airplane.
Yeah, exactly. Because again, I think this will help folks give them an idea, and we also get a lot of folks saying, "Hey, you know what? We're going on our honeymoon summer of 2026." And we want to do Bora Bora for some reason, right? I mean, or Fiji or wherever. How many points am I gonna need? So I think this would be another good tool to give you an idea what to expect, perhaps. Like this is the market today. I mean, things can change, obviously, right? So okay,
Right.
Tim, before we talk pro stuff, can you go back to the calendar view because this is how I found my mom's Asiana flight, business class, last month. I mean, let's try LAX to Manila, please. MNL. Let's just try May of next year or April and May of next year for some. Can we do that?
Probably we definitely can, although I don't, I guess we do have some May.
Yeah. So yeah.
I was surprised,
Right.
but here we
Actually,
go.
before you go back to the calendar, please. I mean, right there. I mean, about I don't know 5 or 6 weeks ago, this view for March of this coming year, it was filled with options of and don't quote me on this. I want to say 87,000. I don't have
Mhm.
my blog entry for me in front of me, but I was able to book my mom one way um, flight. And Tim, it might be the other way around. Actually, Manila back to LAX. Now that I think about it, Manila back to LAX. But this calendar view helped me. Hey, I want her to fly business. I want her to fly between these dates. Show me the date with the lowest business class fare. And having this pink section that Tim is showing us right now, this allowed me to hone in. I just asked Mom, when do you want to fly back? And I will book you a flight. And so that to me was a great advantage because I was able to show that to my mom, and then we were able to choose. Okay, this March 10th for instance would be a good day to fly back, and I think at the time again it was Asiana business flying back to LA. So yeah. So I want to make sure that folks knew that.
Let's try it and see if there's still some good deals. Okay, there we go. Oh, I'm surprised.
Look at
There's
this.
you go, the LAX to Manila.
Yeah.
Found today, 11 hours ago.
Yeah, this is for the two Filipino members in the group. Just two. There was only two of us. So here you
No,
go,
this
guys.
is
LAX
great.
Manila.
Yeah.
This is next year though, right? Or is this?
Mhm.
Yeah, this is next year. Spring break or summertime next year, and you can still fly business LA to Manila. Eva Air is an example. And so again, these same 100,000 bonus points that you're either working on earning right now or a chance for you to apply within the next couple of days can get you flying business class to the Philippines just by applying for one single card. And it's so easy to search. All right. Thank you, Tim, for showing that.
No, of course.
All right.
So I actually really already showed you some of the pro features, like the A350, the airline filter JAL paired with A350. But let me, before I get there, let me show you some common mistakes. So one of the common mistakes just happened to me, right? I was searching LA to anywhere. I was like, why am I getting Alaska flights? Because I thought I had filtered for Chase, right? So this is a common mistake. And we tried a lot. We even glove everything in pink just to make sure. But like even I fall for it, right? If you think something looks weird, just clear your filters because we oftentimes, especially when we spend almost well, it's an hour, right? We forget which filters we set. So always just like if like something looks weird, just reset and just go from there. That's the easiest way to do to fix it. What other things I'll show you? So let's go into some of the cool sort of features, right? So let's do United States and Europe. And let's do, Emirates just stopped, but let's see. Let's do airlines. Emirates. And we want the 777. Okay, there's a little bit too many 777s.
I didn't know about this
Uh,
feature. This is really cool. Thank you for doing this.
so you'll notice you can only select 5 at a time. This is because, okay, this one's that's the last one. This is because there are a ton of airlines, aircraft, and it'll just hang up the search otherwise. But we wanted the 777, right? So you get all these flights. I picked the 777 because I want the game changer, right? So at least you know these are the 777s that fly to Europe. Um, Unfortunately, they're not game changers, but you can go in and do these kind of searches, right? Let's get out of Emirates. Let's do Lufthansa. And let's, instead of 777s, let's do the A350s. And then, Jason, correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe nearly all the A350s that Lufthansa flies now is Allegris.
Yes, I think you're right.
So this is another way to at least narrow down to like, hey, it's most likely Allegris that's flying. And it looks about right because these are all Munich routes.
But look at the
Um,
fees. It's like over $1,000, right?
right. So this is because this includes Lufthansa, right?
Gotcha.
So let's get rid of Lufthansa and see if there's any that we can book on any of other programs. Looks like we, yeah, unfortunately, our dates. Let's expand the dates. So one of the things with Lufthansa is they only release some of their products to partners within 2 weeks, 1 week, and now even 3 days of travel. Did I just reset something? I did reset something. So let's do airlines. Let's do aircraft. 350. Only, and let's just see if there's any good availability. Looks like there's not. I'm honestly surprised because I've seen, oh, there we go. So you see, when you get into the very advanced pro features, right? Sometimes there's a little lag there. But here's an example, right?
I'm laughing here
Washington.
because I'm sitting here go, what lag are you talking about?
I use it too much. But yes, not really lag, but yeah.
Oh my gosh.
And there you go. These are the Munich flights. I believe they should be Allegris. Always just check, right? If when in doubt, like I'm downloading this right now. Just Chicago to Munich. A350 is it Allegris or not, right? But these are some of the AMS tools that you can search like this.
Got it. Tim, how about a favorite in the group is the Q suites? Is that something searchable here? And again, I'll be selfish. U.S. anywhere or L.A. anywhere. I mean, I've flown the Q suites from San Francisco to Doha to the Maldives.
Yes. So searching US anywhere. So Qatar. I'm already in business first. I don't really.
Right.
Q Suites is going to be a little bit harder to do just an aircraft filter because not every, like even for the same route, you're not necessarily using the same aircraft. But you can filter by Q Suites, and there you go.
To the newbies, I mean, how do they know that hey, this one leaving at 9:15 is indeed going to have the Q suites? How will they know that?
So I'll say you just have to Google a
Right.
specific route. So how Q Suites works, right? Sorry, how Qatar Business Class works, right? There's some routes and flight numbers that are definitely Q Suites,
Good.
some that are definitely not Q Suites, and some that are just like a question mark, right? I think regardless, it's going to be a nice, enjoyable experience with
I
Qatar
agree.
Business
I've flown
Class.
both. Right.
Well, I totally understand it if you expect Q suites and you don't get it. But for 54,000 points, it's still worth it. Like, definitely worth it.
Absolutely.
But since we're on Q or Qatar Airways, let's just try this. So I have to get rid of nonstop. So usually, there we go. Okay, perfect. Lesser known, you can fly Qatar Airways business from US to the Maldives.
That's what we did two
And
years ago.
yes, and this is booked on AA, so you have to
Right.
have AA points.
Right.
But there's two-seat availability, and it's SFO to Maldives. Maldives is hard to get to regardless of how you fly there. But it'd be nice if you flew on Qatar Airways business class, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. One of my best flight experience was that route with Qatar.
Right. And oh, there's also some booked with Alaska, which you can transfer your Amex points to fly to Alaska for now.
Right.
What else? Oh, and then book directly with Qatar itself, right? And now there's a 30% transfer bonus from City. So that makes it pretty cheap and a great redemption.
Right.
Um, let me know if there's any other questions before I show like
Let me.
some other.
My son has
Yeah.
not texted me. Evan, making sure you're checking. All right. Uh,
Okay. Well, there's lesser known routes that we cover that others do not. So
yes.
let's do that.
Let's do that.
So we do cover Vietnam routes, right?
Nice.
Let's start with the nonstop first. Um, oh, get rid of Qatar just for that. So Vietnam Airlines does have one nonstop to the U.S. and it's SFO to Ho Chi Minh City,
Right.
right? Um, it costs about under 8,000 points with the transfer bonus. That's not the that's an okay redemption, but for a direct flight, that's probably very worth it for anyone who wants to go there, right? But on a pure points basis, maybe you may not want to do it, but this is a great redemption for people that want direct.
Yeah, we're going to Vietnam this January, and again, because we have four kids, six of us are flying. We're flying Singapore Airlines coach flying back, but Lord knows, I mean, and January is still high season. This is like directly after the new year, and so it was kind of hard to get my choice seats. But you know what? Whatever. We're going to Vietnam. I'm excited. Right.
And the food is great. There's so many beautiful places. So if you switch to one stop or fewer, you'll get something that's more within the range that people expect, right? Around 75, 88,000 points. Well, this was with Honolulu, which is always cheaper because it's closer.
Right.
So I'll show you another trick, pro trick. You can search continental US. And so that'll only be the 4 states for those of you that don't want Honolulu in your results,
Got it.
right?
That's really awesome
And
the way that that's filtered. I mean, the anywhere and the West Coast, that's new to me. I didn't know that. That's new to me.
yeah, and okay, this is actually a good example. We let the premium filter to be 0% so that we don't care. So now this is one of our first truly mixed cabin fares, right? We color code it. So green is premium economy. We show you which leg is in premium economy as well. So it's the FFO to Tokyo route.
Good.
Um, and we show you which percentage. So people probably don't want to pay for this, but hey, maybe they do, right?
Right.
We leave it up to US users to decide. Let's just set it to all the way to 100%, right? Let's just we only care about business first. So now you see a lot more availability, 70,000 points. But this is all AA. I don't want to keep scrolling down. All right. Let's get rid of AA because we probably don't have those miles. It's really hard unless you co-branded card. Airplane. Most cards transfer to aircraft, right? So it becomes very interesting, right? This is with a stop to Taipei. This is stop Seoul, right? So yeah, we cover a lot of routes that's not typically covered. Another one is Bangkok, for example,
Right.
right? But yeah, Jason, let me know if there's any other
No, there's
questions.
actually another question. Turkish and example of Turkish results and Singapore Airlines. And I think, otherwise, Tim, you're going to be here all night, and I don't want to do that to you. So, but if we can cover those two, and let's talk about your the different membership options. I want to make sure to give you that opportunity. All right, so let's do it. Turkish. For me, we've flown them twice. Once out of Houston to Istanbul, all the way to Athens, and then last year from LA to Istanbul and back. So and that was all booked directly through Turkish
Yeah,
without any award
Turkish
search
is.
tools. No
Oh, yeah,
search.
there you go. Right. And did you try the lounge in Istanbul?
Oh my god, it's like Costco. It's so big. It's like a football field. Yes, yes,
I heard it's amazing, the flagship lounge.
absolutely. It's really a must. That in itself made it worth visiting because we were there for quite a few hours, but we were not bored. There was a lot to eat. The airport itself had so many things to do, so many things to see. So we made it worth our while. That's for sure. So here we go. So
So,
talk to us what we're seeing here.
so I left it as first class for business, continental US to Istanbul, right? And left my date range. This is the admin date range, but I picked Turkish Airlines. So this will show you all the different availability we have across programs for Turkish Airlines. As you can see, there's a lot with airplane. So there's tons from airplane. You see, right? And there you go. That's how you would want to search Turkish, right?
Wow, nice. And how about
Let's try.
Singapore?
Let's try any US to anywhere, and let's do uh, this XQ. Let's see what is out there for SQ.
There you go. This is Mother's Day next year, guys. Take mom to Singapore. Look at that.
Yes. So this is a lesser known route, one of the Singapore Airlines freedom routes, JFK to Frankfurt, and business class. These are actually very available typically. You can find a lot of availability for this route. It's a lesser known route, but it's still flying Singapore Airlines business class.
Right.
Maybe let's do Asia. Let's see what we have there. Okay. I do expect SFO, Singapore, Newark, Singapore, all of that. If you want to sort instead of lowest points by last updated, and then you can pair that with the points filter. So you get the most recent, but I only care if they're under 100K. right? So as you can see, this gets more advanced, right? You're pairing multiple different filters. So this one was found 2 minutes ago. ORD to Delhi, and then Delhi to Singapore business, right? And then, hey, maybe you only want nonstop, right? So with Skyview, you can like do all of this, right? You can really go down rabbit holes to find exactly what you want. But keep in mind, always just check when was it last found, just so you don't feel like, hey, like what happened.
Right.
Do you want to show you one last thing while we're at
Yes,
it?
please go ahead.
So for beginners or for pro users, you can just go to flights and see all the different programs we cover. I will note that not every program is always available, right? But let's go to Cafe because we're currently right now the only one. Oh, we're in Singapore. Get rid of all of that. We do search Cafe both live and through schedule. So let's see some availability, right? Let's do United States. Honestly, this will probably all be to Hong Kong.
Yep.
And I'll sort by lowest points. Oh no, do I not have anything? Oh, no directs. Little surprise, honestly.
No. Okay.
But this is Chicago to Hong Kong via Tokyo.
But this is coming up
So
for this summer, though, right? Over the next 6 weeks, it looks like.
July 6th. Yeah.
Gotcha. Gotcha.
Um, yes, so you can book this flight using Cafe Miles, which is also One World. That's why you see Japan Airlines, right? So a lot of things to play with Rome.
Now, this is really very exciting. Hold on. My son just texted me, Tim. I'm sure there might be a question, so give me a second. Um, can it find Singapore suites?
Not currently. We can. All you have to do would just be filter airlines by Singapore, and then filter the aircraft by the A380, which is where Singapore flies its suites. Unfortunately, Singapore does not fly their super class suites to the US anymore.
Okay. Um, and this one, does it find any award class from DFW to Australia to Finland to Indonesia? And I'm sure it will, right?
Mhm. Well, let's just try, what was it, DFW to Australia? We'll see. It should be on one of the popular routes. But look, just remember, we're using Skyview right now to see maximum availability. You can always just toggle it off and we will search any route and date, right? Let's just pick a random date, right? We'll just search Dallas to Sydney or Dallas to Finland, etc., right?
There you
So
go.
Skyview is for broad searching, but you can always search 3 days at a time or 7 days at a time, depending if you're pro or not using our live search.
Okay. One of my good friends says, please show some love for the East Coast. So can you give us a couple of East Coast to anywhere?
Yeah, let's do it.
Jomar,
So
for you.
I'll do NYC. Mm, let's do Europe. Let's pick just pick the maximum dates. So because we're doing Asia, West Coast just have more deals. So Asia. East Coast is mostly to Europe. Let's just do nonstop. See where we want to go. So it's okay to LHR, right? Only 27,000 points with a 30% transfer bonus, and it's 9 seats left, right? The reason why there's so many seats left is because you're booking directly on Virgin Atlantic. Usually the airline has more seats available to their own program. While we're on East Coast, let's see if we can do some of the lesser known places. Not lesser known. People don't think about these as much because you have to have one stop, right? Um, there we go, right?
I'm
New
so
York,
glad you're covering this.
Barcelona.
Good. That was going to be my question that I didn't get to ask. Iberia. Go ahead.
Yes. So you're flying on Iberia to Barcelona via Madrid. It's 45,000 points on Alaska.
Sweet.
What other places? Let's see. This one This one might be a little bit hard. Let's just see if it's available. Flying to Nice. I've seen this from time to time. Okay. Well, this is flying via BA. So most people don't want to pay the 1,000 points. Well, we'll start at 1,000 miles. Maybe lower that and see if there's availability. Honestly, this is a little surprising to me. Got it. So it's got it. Maybe it's because it's a short from LHR to Nice that makes it so cheap. Hmm. Looks like we just discovered some interesting routing. Let's see if there's any for flying blue, which is typically they do. That's okay. There we go.
Yep.
It's probably made more sense. You're flying to the home country of that airline, right? JFK and Charles de Gaulle to Nice. Maybe I'll do another one since we're here. Let's just do Italy and see what's available. Okay, there's a bunch just on Flying Blue itself. Look, so the first one's Milan, it looks like, right, with a stop in Charles de Gaulle. Second one is Wayment Airport. I have not flown there. There's some to Rome, some to Venice, as you can see, right? The East Coast, I'll just say general rules of thumb, East Coast to Europe, a lot more availability, a lot more safer flights. West Coast to Europe, to Asia, a lot easier to do. And West Coast to Australia as well.
Right. Now, this is really exciting, Tim. We've taken a lot of your time, and I'm so glad that you were able to spend a good solid hour, if not more, with all of us here. Tim, I'd like to give you the opportunity now to invite everybody not only to try your platform, but there are different levels of membership, and also any special discount code for Daddy Travels members. Is it over the next week or so?
Yes,
Okay.
have to do that. So yeah, I'll show you our membership tiers, right? So as a free user, you can use basically anything we talked about, real-time search, right? If you want the alerts, which I think are critical to finding good availability and using the full version of Skyview, then you would upgrade to the Friends of Rome. It is $12.99 a month, or if you want to pay for a full year, it's $110, or billed monthly, it's $9.9, approximately $9. So definitely come check it out. Right. Also, as part of this Daddy Travels, we do have a special discount for an extra 30% off. If you use the code, let me get you the code, Daddy Travels 30. So sure, Jason will share that. But thank you for being here.
Of course. I mean, I really think that it's worth the investment because I know, especially I still look at my community as a very tight knit community. A lot of lurkers, if I may, because I will have friends or folks who I don't really know, but they will see me at Ralph's or Vaughn's. Hey, I follow you, and thank you for mentioning this card. And so I know there's a lot of you out there who are probably not that active in the group, and this is your opportunity to actually take your search to the next level. This is not to say that going directly to the airline is a lost art. No, I still find a lot of thrill in going directly to Turkish. I mean, people would think like, why do you want to call Turkish even? I mean, I've had my ups and downs with Turkish Airlines, but I really think that, especially if you're a newbie and even if you're seasoned, if you just want something within your fingertips, having access to Rome using your laptop or your desktop or even your phone is really a good tool to have. It, Tim, how much of your time do you spend searching for flights just because?
Oh, well, I send out the newsletter with all the deals, so I search a ton for everyone. But I would say, look, you always have fun new surprises. Look, even while we're doing this demo today, right, there's other routings that I never thought about or things that show up, right? That's the fun of points travel and like searching, and also being flexible with your dates, right? It's pretty cool out there.
Absolutely. And I really like the idea that Especially with me, with us being in this hobby. Uh, to me, I don't even think of, oh my gosh, it's gonna cost me $4,000 to fly to Tokyo. I don't think about the dollar amount anymore, but instead, hey, you know what? I signed up for that card with Barclays or Alaska or whatever about a month ago. Where can I go with those points? I'm now many of us are now hunters, flight hunters, and sites like Rome.Travel really has given us somewhat of an edge to get booking with those flights. So, guys, Tim, share your Instagram handle again one more time and your Facebook group and where else they can find you, please, so that they can follow you.
Yeah, definitely. You can follow us on Instagram at ROAME.TRAVEL, ROAME.travel, or visit us on Facebook. It's called Award Travel by Rome.
Very good. And also, guys, I've asked him to to save this, to record this segment because Facebook now deletes Facebook Lives after 30 days. So so this segment will be up for 30 days up until early June or something. But I'm hoping that Tim will be able to send me the actual live segment so we can use it in the future because I really think it was an hour well spent with Tim. So Tim, thank you very much for spending time with us, and I hope we can invite you again. You know what? One more thing, and if is are there plans for Rome.Travel hotels? Or
I
did
guess
I just open up a can of worms? If you're not allowed to talk about it.
no. Stay tuned.
Ah, okay.
Stay tuned. I think you'll be seeing something pretty soon.
Very good. There you go, guys. That's breaking news. All right. So hopefully we'll see more because if they can do this with award flights, I can only see what else they can do with hotel bookings because that's also a big pain point for many of us. We have the points for the hotel for the flights, but the rooms are not available. And so, bottom line is, I'm hoping that uh, search engines like Rome will help us be better planners for our future travels. Tim, again, thank you very much, and please send me the recording so that I can save it. All right?
No, thank you for having me.
Of course. Thank you. All right, guys. We'll catch you later.
See you.
Turn this off.